Hey, I'm D'Angela.
And I'm David, and we're work spouses. Yep, you heard it right, but not the type that you're thinking of.
We realize you spend more time with people at work than you do with the people you love most.
We're going to discuss the interactions such as the games played at work, building the right and avoiding the wrong relationships. D'Angela and I, we're currently work spouses.
Join us each week as we testify, help, and complain about work in corporate America.
Welcome back, co-workers.
Welcome back, co-workers. We are back in the house. How you feeling, David? You feeling good, huh?
Yeah, I'm just. Well, I'm taking a day off tomorrow, so I'm excited.
You're taking Friday off?
Yeah, just being off. Yeah.
Trying to fix it.
Then nothing like taking a day off on payday Friday. So it's nothing like.
It's payday. You need to send my money then via Cash App and stop playing.
Okay, I'll send.
That's what you're paying for? Tomorrow's payday to send my money?
Yeah.
You got until tomorrow then. You got until tomorrow to send it.
Are any stores opening up your way tomorrow? I know.
What do you mean stores? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to get in the middle of this camera.
Yeah, I know. Well, at least the governor for Maryland, they're opening up tomorrow at noon. Like they're
opening back up until June 8th.
Okay. All right. So.
But stores are still open, but just for pickup. Is that what you're asking?
Well, I think some stores are actually literally opening up, but there's still going to be some social distancing.
Yes.
Protocol. But like they sent out something like Howard County, the parks are opening up, but it can't be crowded. Like they're not going to open up the basketball courts, but you can do tennis and other stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah. So, what else? What else is going on before we jump to the topic?
I think we should jump in because we got a lot to cover in less than an hour or an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm not in the middle of the frame here. That's bothering me a lot. Sorry.
Not either the camera needs to turn.
Yeah.
To your right, or you need to scoot over.
I don't think it's my camera.
Okay. So, the topic for today
is
I love you, but I can't trust you.
I love you, but I cannot trust you. But I don't trust you.
Yeah, or I don't trust you. Right. Yeah. I think I don't know. I think everybody has been in some type of situation where they love something, but they couldn't trust it. Or love someone. Yeah. Because sometimes it's not just about, a person. It could be a thing. It could be a product. It could be an organization.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. That reminds me. I got a story to start out with.
Okay. Let's
So you're right, but it's not a love situation. It's a work situation. So it's not love is not involved. Last week, my coworker and I had a phone conference meeting with our company's Prime, and they were showing us how to use this portal to submit monthly reports and so forth, just how to use the portal. So for some reason, I couldn't log into the conference call on the phone. It wasn't a Skype one where it was video. It was more so a phone conference call. So I couldn't figure out. I don't know if I had the wrong pin or what, but I just could not log into the phone conference. I don't know what happened. So I missed the conference, and I said, "Hey, can you let me know what happened on the phone conference, and what was talked about or discussed, or how to use the portal?" So he sent me an email, which is "Hey, this was what happened. We basically need to submit our monthly reports, and we got to put it in this field in the portal. Can you be in charge of this? Can you do this? And also, here's the screenshot of it." Not really telling me what the reports are, what it consists of, what the fields are. But I thought it was interesting when he said, "Can you do this?" Just trying to give me the task.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, but you're still not telling me what the task consists of for you to ask me to do it. I would think you have more knowledge of the task because I wasn't even on the call. So he was so quick to so that was kind of alarming initially. So he was so quick to give me the task that my spidey senses went off. And I was like, wait, something's not sounding right here, because why would he put this in the email and really not telling me what's required required because only one person needs to do this monthly report. And I'm thinking like, well, I'm not the PM. Why am I the only person doing it? Or why are you so quickly to give me this task? So I end up being able to get onto a call because the person was apparently doing calls throughout the entire day with different people regarding the same portal. Okay. So I was able to hop onto the call and, of course, hear the whole spiel of the portal. And it was just like, you can create a report in the portal, but other people can access it from their side and include their information on the monthly report. So it's basically like a, what do we use before when you and I work together? Like a shared drive situation?
Right.
Like a SharePoint. It's like a SharePoint, yeah. So it's kind of like a SharePoint situation, but you log into it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So basically, if I created a report, all I would do is look at the tasks that we're on together. So we're at the same site. We would have that task number together, and you can go in and enter your monthly report too. So, but before I knew this information, I had responded and said, well, how about we oscillate the task? You know, like you do one, like for instance, I'll start this month and you do the next month and so forth. Before I even got on the call to really understand how the portal works. So then when I got on the call, I sent back an email and said, I actually was able to get on one of the calls reviewing the portal, you know, the monthly reports. And how it works is that you can actually go in and enter your information, which I think is better, right? He goes back and was like, what are you talking about? Da, da, da. You know, I didn't know that. So I was like, my coworker cannot be trusted.
Yeah. I mean, because
you didn't even take the chance to tell me how it actually worked and say, hey, can you do this? He was just so quick to give me a blurb or whatever he wanted me to give me and then just say, yeah, can you handle this? No. I'm not doing our monthly report for us. Like, you know, like, so they kind of like really kind of like, it sounds really like, okay, he can't be trusted, so move on. But it's like, no, because now I don't know what off-scene or out-of-scope things that I'm not privy to that he'll tell me anything. Like to the minimum level, like, or how much do I even tell him, you know, because he hit for his own game. So it was just like, wow, dang, this person was willing to just give me their task and not even kind of say, hey, let's discuss it. You know, I don't really feel like doing this report every month. And I was like, hey, all you got to do is enter. We got a weekly report that's due. So I was just like, hey, just enter throw your weekly report in it. But just because we have just been privy to the report for this month, you know, it seems like a lot. So just throw your weekly stuff in the report, you know, each week so that by the time it comes to the end of the month, we're just hitting submit button, you know, like that.
Right.
So he tried to make it complicated. He kept texting me over the weekend weird stuff like after that. It was like, yeah, this report is crazy, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe I didn't get that information. Somebody else told me something dumb. Like it was all these other follow-up things that were just like, but it's not that serious. It's not that serious. All you gotta do is throw your stuff in the report. When we all done, just hit submit. So then he made a big deal about the submit button. Are you gonna hit submit or am I gonna hit submit? I was like, it really doesn't matter. I'm also concerned about the context of the report, you know? Like, I was like, so it just like made me thinking like, I have to work with a person that I don't trust.
So how important is trust to you when it comes to working your coworkers and colleagues, and also when it comes to trusting your family, but then also trusting the person you're in a relationship with? Like, is it different?
Trust is important to me. Like, trust is top priority with just an overall trust. I think trust is important in any relationship, work, family, intimate, whomever, blah, blah, blah. It's important. But I think it's very important to identify who you can and cannot trust and with what, so that you can manage things differently.
Right. Because you may have family members that you love and care about, but you can't trust them. You can't trust them to handle family business. You can't trust them to plan. You can't trust them to finance. You can't trust, so there's different things because you know them. So I guess, you can categorize them and know the things that they can handle, the things that they cannot.
Right. And how about you? Like, because you're married. So how does that work? You know, some people can't handle certain things in the marriage, so they give it to the other spouse to handle. Like, that's a trust factor, I'm assuming, that goes on between, you know, a marriage. And it may not just necessarily be finance, it may be just like certain tasks that involve us as a community or us as a relationship that need to be handled, but I'm like, oh no, I gotta handle this because he can't handle it. Or is it car maintenance, not getting to gender roles, but is it car maintenance versus cooking, or versus finances versus like cleaning? You know,
Okay, yeah.
like I don't know.
Like, okay, like follow through on business stuff, or you know, something comes in the mail, you got to respond to it. No, I would not trust my wife to do that stuff.
Oh, really?
No.
Does she remind you?
No. Like, like, yeah, it's almost like we know, yeah, that's not her thing.
Okay.
You know, researching and going further to figure out, you know, what to do. You know, sometimes you can get a prompt to do something and you don't know how to follow up on getting qualified or follow up on making the deadline and things of that nature. So yeah, if something comes in the mail or there's something that involves, hey, follow these steps. No, that's not going to be. I don't trust her to be like, hey, yeah.
Is it because something happened in the past, or is it more so because like you just learned your lesson? Like, have you been scorned because of trusting her or trying to trust her, or have you just always just taken on that role because of just who you are and your personality? You know, like, because just roles.
Well,
like,
you know, I think sometimes you are put in situations. Let me just be straight up honest. Like, I think
we like honesty. We like being able to trust your honesty.
Yeah, I think for her is she has, like, prior to me, like, you know, just like she has family members who are willing to, you know, just do the follow through, little tedious stuff for her. So it's like she always had that cushion, or not the cushion, the net, safety net, right? So now it's like, okay, I jump in the picture, and it's like she's just used to not. Okay, I'm not used to doing all that, going that far, and going down to this office to figure out why ain't this working, or why I didn't get approved for this, and why, you know, just you know, things that require like 2, 3, 4 steps. You know, like you know how there's things like, okay, let's say IRS. The IRS says, hey, something's wrong with the taxes. You know, figure out, you know, and go do the math and do the further research. Right. Things that require step 4 and step 5. Yeah, she's not. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing all that. yeah. So it's like, okay. So I wouldn't trust her, to do that stuff.
Well, at least you all know your strengths and weaknesses. But what if, like, for you kind of like, I guess you're better at it. But what if there were 2 people that weren't better at it? Like, somebody would just have to.
Yeah.
You would be, you know what I mean? You'd be doomed.
or sometimes it's like, whoever that's available to do it. You know, if we're both good at it and we trust that we both could get it done right. So then it's like whoever that has the free time to do it. Or whoever that's, you know, first accessible to do it first, then I think that's a great thing. You have 2 great cooks, you know, in the house, and it's like, hey, whoever that's free first to cook for the family, go ahead and go for it. So I think, and I think, so there's some things that like I wouldn't trust myself to do. Like, there's some cooking things, like, you know, there's some things I can cook, but there's some things like, I don't trust myself to do that. Yeah.
And I think that's what makes a trusting relationship, is knowing what you're good at and what you're not.
Yeah.
And being honest about it.
Yeah. And like, even like just like just even think like just trust, like there's groups. Like I was thinking about when we were about the topic, like then people could relate to this. Like you may be like a organization or even like a team. Oh, I love this team, but I don't trust that their management is going to make the right decisions to get the right personnel to win. Or even going back to like the organization. Oh, I love my organization, but I don't trust that my hiring manager is going to promote me in time when I need to be promoted. So therefore, those are kind of things that I love it and I love things about it, but I just don't trust the system, or I don't trust the route that it may potentially go.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, with groups it can be difficult. Like, I mean, but people think about I feel like trust goes on, like trust is even considered even in like Christian groups, religious groups, like those are large groups of, arenas where people have to instill trust, but they assume like, oh, this person has the same view as me religiously, so maybe they're trustworthy. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't necessarily trust you because you're part of a particular religious group.
Yeah. There's people that trust. I mean, there's people that trust, and they're the leaders of the groups and things like that. Yeah, and we know that that's been going on for years.
Forever.
Yeah, forever. It's like a matter of fact, I was watching a documentary on Netflix, and where the pastor had everybody living on a compound, and
what's the name of it? Messiah?
Wives. Oh, yeah, I can't. What's it called?
Messiah?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and got multiple wives, so it's like you can deceive to trust to win over trust.
Yes. Ding ding ding. You were saying exactly what I was thinking when it came to trust. And I thought of trust and transparency in the same, like when I think of trust, I think of transparency.
Good. Okay.
Because like the difference to me is like trust is basically me deciding the truth, like me. Whereas in transparency is more so telling you everything for you to decide, make your own decision. Clearly that's not a Webster dictionary decision defined definition, so no. But that's how I look at trust versus transparency. Is like, yes, I'm deciding to tell you the truth about something or a situation or what have you, but transparency is like I'm telling you for you to decide for yourself, of that. We gotta look this up to know the difference. Does it make sense? Like,
no, that makes sense, because I think like one of the things
I'm looking up the official definition down.
Like, I guess because it goes back to transparency, it goes back to withholding information or something like that.
Yes, that's how I look at it. Yeah.
And it's like one of the big things working at a government agency, you're supposed to be transparent, especially when it comes to
finances,
business partners, things that vendors and things of that nature, because you're trying to build the public's trust. And there is actually a public trust clause or something in these contracts and things like that. So good organizations or successful organizations, they are transparent about their spending, and transparent about certain things, certain affiliations, and the organization's purpose and goals and mission and vision and things like that. But I could, like I said, it goes with what you're saying, because then you have the side, or the other side, where you could be dating somebody or be part of an organization where everything is secretive and everything's on the hush. So it's like, what's really going on? How, business is not going that well, and how are we still hiring people and making payroll?
We're about to be right.
Yeah. So like,
we're about to be losing people or terminating people.
Right. We haven't had no business meeting. They haven't released the books, the records, the income statements. So there's so when you're not, so it gives reason to be hesitant, gives reason to have doubt.
Right. So I looked up the difference between trust and transparency.
Okay.
And it says that it sounds like a content, because I'm trying to find a good, Webster. I mean, Google search definition, and to easily identify. It says if someone is transparent, it means that the person cannot or does not hide or conceal anything. It means observers who want to know what this someone is up to. The observers are free to observe. A person who is transparent has no secrets and tells no lies. Trust, they only went into transparency for some reason. Let me see. And I want them to separate the two, Oh, and so it says, instead, trust is earned when an individual shows consistency between words, actions, and results.
Okay.
And when they are both there, managers are transparent about their performance and being measured. So I guess that was related to work.
Okay.
So I feel like that's a good interpretation of what I was trying to get to.
So then I had something. so then I had something about untrustworthy behavior. So
tell us.
These are some of the points that I have. So pattern of going back on your word or breaking promises. Okay. In a relationship, I can say, hey, yeah, we're gonna go out. I'm gonna pick you up, but then hey, you don't follow through. It's always something else.
Okay.
Okay. Not being there for your partner in a time of need.
That's a good one.
So, yeah, I can't trust you when I'm in hurt, when I'm in pain, or in time of loss, need, sorrow, whatever. In a very sensitive emotional state, you're not there. So okay, so yeah, I can't trust you to come through for me. Okay, that's important.
That's very important.
Yeah. So then withholding or keeping something back. Okay. So then we touched on that, and also on lying and manipulation.
Okay.
Because you can definitely manipulate.
Yeah.
Then
okay.
A pattern of not sharing feelings openly. I think that's
that's
one.
Trust all the way.
Yeah.
That's not, because I was thinking of how transparency can be involved in that too, because somebody can omit, stuff. But
because I even think just at the basic level, like, okay, when you become true friends with someone in like high school, like or junior high, you start building a friendship, whether for the same sex or opposite sex, it's like trust built on sharing feelings openly. It's like if only one party is pouring out to how they feel and the things that bother them and things that make them happy, and the other party's not doing that, we're not really getting close. You're getting to know me, but I'm not getting to know you. So it's like, if you really start thinking about it, can I really trust you with this information, because I have no information on you that you have shared. So it's like, but
I agree. I think it's like the willingness to tell the truth regardless of the outcome. And if you're pulling anything back or holding anything back or omitting anything, rather, are you being trustworthy? Just because you don't want to or because you're trying to predict the outcome, are you truly being trustworthy? If you're only telling me what you think I want to hear to predict how I feel.
Right. So
yeah.
When it comes to a relationship, okay, let's talk about. Have you ever been in a relationship where you guys shared the same bank account? Or something?
We did have a joint account. I have been in a relationship where we had a joint account. Yes. Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about that level of trust. So how did you get to that point? Like, how did people get to that point?
Well, we lived together. So it was kind of like almost like easier for us to separate certain things having a joint account, because we had things together and separately. But the things that we had together, it was best to kind of have a joint account for those things. And we would both put money in them to pay for joint things. But there was a time in the relationship where one person was using the joint account like their personal account.
Okay.
And I was like, no, you need to, it made me start to recognize, like, because I would never have like someone that I'm dating or even my husband be like, ask me if they can use money out of their own account. But it made me think, like, you really need to ask me, because the other person was like, it goes back to when you mentioned about your wife and you who's handling business or finances. Like, there's things that still have to come out. We can get a bounce check fee or a return check fee if you swiping his money because you just see it in there when you're not really sure on the money that's coming out of the account.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was like, oh, we really got to have a conversation about this.
Have you ever stayed in a relationship even after you stopped, even after you were unable to trust them, even after you lost trust in them?
No, I left.
So
safe to assume I'm no longer in that relationship, guys.
okay, so I guess where I'm trying to get at is, like, can you stay in a relationship or can you be in a relationship when you don't trust the person?
No, I think it depends on what matters to you the most when it comes to trusting, because, like, we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to not know. Like, so, like, how do you know what's important to a person in trust? Like, I feel like that's something you have to continuously have in growing pains in a relationship as you develop. Like, let me just put out an example. Say your wife, let's say, you and your wife met, right? Like, before you all got married and you were dating, but you dated a friend's friend of a friend. She dated a friend's friend of a friend. And then y'all happen to be in the same room together and she never mentions it to you. Does that matter to you? Does it matter how long she never mentioned it? Because she could just be like, well, you know what? I didn't find it that important to mention because I'm dating you and we're no longer dating and it wasn't that serious between us. You know how, like, you put all these little quantifiers on there as to why the information, she never told you the information, even if y'all in the same environment together. Or if it's not a close friend, she didn't feel like it was pertinent to you all's relationship. So I feel like that level of trust is something you're always learning about each other, but you have to allot grace. You know what I mean? Like, through the process, because you don't know how important it is. But I feel like once you establish a level of importance, like, this is something that matters to me. If you have ever had relations with my close friend, let me know. Like, but those things you understand, but it's those things those nuances that you necessarily may not know until you actually, the situation or the conversation comes to a surface.
Yeah. I think I actually been in that situation, just in terms of, because I know my wife, she dated my brother-in-law's brother. Like,
what?
My wife, yeah. Let me.
That's your brother.
Say that's right. Okay. My wife dated her husband's. My wife dated her sister's husband's brother.
Okay, wait. Go back to that. Your wife
dated her sister's husband's brother before me.
Okay.
So then that's why I said my brother-in-law's brother. But my sister her sister's husband's brother. So I remember he was coming to town. We were all in California, and the brother was coming to town. The sister's husband's brother was coming
this is
to town,
juicy, man.
and she prompted me, and she was like, "Oh, just to let you know, so and so's coming to town. We used to date, a couple years ago, and I don't want you, I just want you to be aware of that,
That's full honesty and transparency.
We're all gonna be hanging around each other and things like that. So okay.
Yeah. So that's full honesty and transparency, because she knew how you felt already, or she just felt like, I should tell this person because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes some
Right.
people don't feel that way to tell you, even if the person came in town because they no longer with them.
Right.
Oh, and the seriousness of the relationship, I would assume too.
Relationship, plays a part. Yeah, I think that plays a huge part. Like, or were you in love? Like if this is your
Yeah, and that's the
love.
thing.
Yeah.
But see, now
Um,
you're classifying it like if you were you in love with this person? Were you doing this with this person? Were you doing that? Like now you're classifying it why it was important. Whereas in like, oh, this person was a fling.
but like so, but it's like why you okay? So you're telling me like how serious? But for you to tell me on your own, that means it might have been serious. But
Yep.
if it was just something you went out one time, I don't care about that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you know.
Or
So
your feelings might be deeper than what you're actually trying to downplay right now.
yeah. So right. Or is it a situation where he still likes you? You know, like why are you telling me this?
Right.
Uh, but I was definitely secure. And then he was younger than me, and so it's like there were just
What
so
had
many
to do
things.
with that? You didn't think he could get your woman because he was younger than you?
Yeah, it was just no threat. Like yeah, I was at the peak of my game. I was in my
Oh,
prime. So yeah, yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, it's no threat. Yeah,
it's no game here. Oh, I've got this in the bag.
yeah. Like
It's
like it didn't even
funny.
matter. Like, oh, you guys want to go get some yoga together? Go ahead. I'll be here. I'm
Oh,
cool.
you wouldn't even care if they went out together.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Excuse
good.
me, Mr. Confidence.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah.
So like in that type of situation, someone may not have thought it was important to tell the other person because of the dynamics or the dating, whatever happened in throughout the relationship that someone had. But I had a situation where someone omitted some information that they knew were not okay. In my past relationship, I think I mentioned before, if not fully, I dated someone who I told you can have any woman friend that you want as long as you all did not have relations.
Oh, I hate those. Yeah, I get that.
And they lied about, not only did they lie about having relations, they introduced me to the person. We double dated with the person. Like, I mean, we were entwined. And I was like, what? Did you not understand about that? And they just kept trying to make like, even if it was this long ago, even if it was this, and I was like, no.
Yeah. You know what? I'm like that too. It's like if it's somebody that I was full with in high school, come on, that don't even count. It's like I was 20 years old or I was 18. Like that doesn't even count anymore. But for some reason, it still counts with some people.
I think it counts regardless. If you ever had relations with someone and you were in high school, I don't think that it counts to the point of significance. I think it counts to the point of let's have a conversation on you all's relationship now. Does that make sense? Okay. Whereas I'm saying a person who had relations with somebody who their female or male friend, depending on whomever, in the past decade, like that's a relationship. That's a fling. That's a something. Like I'm not talking about somebody when you had in 10th grade and you haven't seen them since 10th grade. You know what I mean? No. But and it depends on the relationship dynamics. But if you introduce me to somebody, we're double dating, and y'all have relations a year before we met, that's a problem.
Yeah, let's talk about. I'm gonna jump to I'm gonna jump to something real hot, but before we get to the hotness,
let's start hot.
I'm gonna
take a sip of water.
I'm gonna warm you up. So let's talk about cell phone. You're in a relationship.
Does your wife have access to your cell
phone? She used to, but now. Oh, I already told you what I did, and I'm not. And I don't. Well, I have nothing to hide. So what I end up doing, I think I told you. I told someone. I think I might tell someone at work. So before I got this phone, the other phone, I didn't have a password on it.
Okay.
When we first got into a relationship, I think the cell phone was an issue. She wanted to see, who I was kind of talking to, because I had a foot in and I had a foot out. Not saying I was doing stuff.
How long into the relationship did you have a foot in and a foot out? Like how long were you all dating or made it exclusive?
I think the first 6 months it was like dating. So then it's
Okay.
like
So the first 6 months this happened.
yeah. So in the
Okay.
first 6 months, like as we started dating more regularly, and you get into that exclusive point, you're kind of concerned, like, who else is there? Because there are some times where, she can't get a hold of me, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I think we had some cell phone. She wanted to know, and I think I let her go through the phone one time. Then there might have been a message in there that
Mm-hmm.
that we got in an argument about. So when we got married, I ended up we got married in
So how
2015.
long? So how long was the span of you all dating versus you all getting married?
Well, on and off probably 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Before, yeah, on and off 4 years, 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
So when we got married, I wanted to get married without any doubt, things like that. Not that I was like just wilding out, but because I did chase her down, I wanted her to know that there ain't no games, blah blah. This is
Right.
what it is. So I did not have a password on my phone. So therefore, if you want to grab it and just touch
It's freely open to you and available.
right. So I did that for like 2 years. Then I realized that she didn't want to go in it as much. You don't like
Wait,
the fact.
wait. So let's go back. You kept your phone purposely available to her, you saying, during this time to show her your level of commitment.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I have nothing to hide. But then what I noticed in this time frame that she never really asked to go through it.
Okay.
So it's like, okay. So it seemed like, okay, when I have a password, when I take the phone to the bathroom, that's when she wants to get tough. But when I just leave it around, it's like she don't really care no more. So I think I kind of like. So then now it's back to being locked, but it's more locked just because security purposes. Anybody can grab your phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got so many bank apps and things like that. Whatever.
Right.
But I feel like it played to my favor, because now if I was doing something, this would be a great time, because now she never she never looks, because
David.
we went to that 2 year phase of, hey, initiation phase. But
Yeah, but you don't think that mainly because she feels that your level of commitment, you know what you have at stake, like you wouldn't, ruin it. Not necessarily because you're going to the bathroom with your phone. I mean, it is suspicious when someone sees something suspicious happening, they're going to be concerned regardless.
I just, her fear may be just flirting and planting a seed, but not actually following through. Not actually, I don't think she ever fears of like a full blown affair or something going on. Just because, right now we spend so much time at home, but even prior to that, I spent a lot of time.
Well, you don't have to connect physically. I think what's actually more important to cheating to me is emotional cheating.
Yeah,
so
I got you. Yeah.
I would be upset if my man created an emotion, because I feel like for women in particular, not all,
Yeah.
but they will develop an emotional connection with the man purposely to be physically entwined with the man, because that's the way to get physical, or that's the way to get them coming to you. It's like a manipulation thing. So
yeah, every now and then, like my phone goes off late at night. She might be, oh, what is that? Who is that? Especially when I moved to the East Coast, because it's 10 o'clock here, but then 7 o'clock there, and people are still. And be like, oh, who's that? Who's that calling? I'm like, calm down, relax. People don't, So every now and then, but I think sometimes women they just feel insecure for a day or for a moment, and it's just yeah, and it just those are just part of the.
But you said women, like you don't think men feel that way?
I'm sure, yeah, men do. Yeah, I don't, but yes, men do.
Because I was like, I have a similar story, but in reference to a guy I dated.
Men absolutely do. Yeah, man needs to be. There are a lot of men that needs words of affirmation and needs things like that.
That's the number one top man love language, is words of affirmation that I found.
yeah. They need that. I'm not going. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's true.
So in the time that you all been married, have the going through the phone situation ever been an issue anymore?
Trying to think, has she ever grabbed the phone and, 'cause, sometimes you can grab a phone and not get the full conversation. Then
Yes.
it's like,
Oh, there's always context. Oh yeah.
yeah. So then there could be an issue. Nothing comes to mind. I feel like it might have been like one or two incident, but
Yeah. Okay.
nothing that was substantiated. Might have been just a misinterpretation of something.
Has it
Uh,
flipped? Like, have that happened to you where you picked up her
uh,
phone?
no,
No. Okay.
yeah, unfortunately, no. Then
Unfortunately, that's not unfortunate.
well, I mean, because there's been times where I thought of going through a phone, but I just can't remember a password. So yeah, so like, well, I guess it just wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
It was not. So, do you think someone can, regain trust of someone if they already lost it? Because I wonder, like that moment, if you kind of lose trust for someone, and how do you kind of like, what do you do to kind of like get back on that trust bandwagon? Like, okay, I trust you now. I don't have to go through your phone. Because I wonder about people who actually go through people's phone and find some shit, and they be like, oh, wait a minute, and then they always want to be like, do I need to go through this phone and see if it's here?
I mean, I do need to regain it. And I think a lot of people go through it who are in relationships. They have a kid with the person, with the man, and the man messes up, and they got to get back in good graces. I think the key to that is getting out of the doghouse and regaining the trust is about what does it look like to the person that you offended. Because sometimes, let's say if I'm in a relationship, okay, let's just talk about me and my wife. Let's say I cheated on her and I lost her trust. And so it's like I can do A, B, and C and think that's good enough to win her trust. But what it looks like to her, I need to do A through N.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like so in order to regain trust, you have to do those actions that looks like, hey, I can trust you again to the person that you offended.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might be, it's too much. Sometimes
I was going to say that sometimes it just no coming back from it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the guys go, well, hey, I'll do A through D, but there's no way I'm going to N, and that's just it. And then you walk.
Or the other person.
Yeah.
Or on the other side, the person don't want you to do A through N.
Yeah. Well, like R. Kelly said, when a woman's fed up, it ain't nothing you can do about it.
Nothing at all.
And I think I was with someone, and I couldn't do nothing to get back.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even you? Yeah. All this strong game you got, David?
Yeah. Even with the premier game I had.
You couldn't pull out all the stops?
Yeah. Level 1 game.
Player down.
Yeah. Top tier methodologies, and counters after counters, maneuvers after maneuvers. Yeah. And it's like when she's fed up, it's like, there's nothing. Yeah, they're tuned off.
Dang. Was it cheating though, or was it like? Tell us. I want to know now. I want to know the story behind that. Like, what was so egregious? If it was egregious, that
I think what it was a woman that we had interest in each other at different times.
Oh.
And there was, okay, now I remember. Now it's come back to me. And this person poured their heart out to me. I remember they came to my house, and they laid it on. The girl, she laid it on. Hey, I know we've been on and off. I know you've seen somebody else, blah blah, or you're entertaining somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Please just cut it off. And she like poured her heart out to me, and she said, "We could do this. We could try this, and I'm here for you. Let's do it."
Wow.
So she told me that she was all in, and I was still iffy about it. And I kind of took too long to make that call. So then when I came to her, like 4 months later, hey, I thought about it. Let's give it a run. And she was like, no. It's like because
Was
I
she with was she with someone else though?
she wasn't with no one else. I
Oh,
think it was just the
the
rejection.
rejection. I was gonna say that. I have a similar story. Oh my gosh, it just made me think about.
Yeah, yeah, the reject. Yeah, when somebody's like all in like that and they reject, and it just depends what state or frat, And we might have
Yeah.
been, could have been like 29. Both of us could have been like 29 or something like that. So, yeah,
Okay.
it was nothing. I remember attempting, trying, and it, was,
Mm-hmm.
it just didn't work.
No, it made me think about something that happened to me, but I was on the opposite end. It was a little weird. So it was with the actual person that I was actually with, and then they were like showing, and this is why I don't like people who don't communicate with their words. Like, I mean, actions are good too, but I need your words to kind of like bring it all together.
Right.
And they were coming around and showing me a different side of them, but because they have done so much crappy stuff to me and wasn't really kind of like being honest, I didn't take them seriously. So then when I recognized what was happening, I reached out to them and said, hey, like, if you want to do this, let's do this. And he was like, I'm good. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And he was like, I'm good. So I think at that moment, he was like, I'm seeing someone else. I was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't know that it was so quickly that you were seeing someone else or someone else was trying to jerk your chain and you didn't. But it was just like, so I took it as in like, you never really wanted to be, you never wanted to be serious anyway, but you made it seem like I misread the signs. So from that point on, I was like, I'm no longer assuming anything. And I think that's why I communicate the way that I communicate when it comes to like understanding someone, because I feel like our lines got crossed. And
Do you feel like in situations like that when you misread something so much and you kind of fall on your face because you misread it, do you feel like you check in more than you need to? You check in on the feelings, like how did it impact you moving forward other than
Oh, it was
communicating?
major because this is a person that I really cared about. Like we had a relationship for quite some time. So it was something where we just felt like we couldn't but get back into, but it made me question, like after when it happened, it made me question actually like this was the best thing for me not to be with this person because they couldn't be honest about what they wanted when they wanted it. So basically, like it was like a cowardly move that happened on their part. And then when I recognized what happened, trying to pull them in closer, like kind of have the conversation, someone else was already like homegirl, like, yeah, I'm gonna be with you, we're gonna be together. So you was able to move forward because someone else made the decision for you. So I don't really think he made the decision initially. I think it was more so like, this is different, I'm gonna go here, like that situation.
Yeah.
So it was more, but that's what happened when you're young too. You just do what someone else. If somebody feeling you and showing you interest and they pressed over you, you gonna probably go that way. When you gotta work for it when you're that young, you're like, I'm good. You don't get it at that age. Yeah. So that's what made me recognize from that point, like, because at first I was like distraught and I was like, damn, how you just gonna help some new bitch? Like I was like, hold up. So then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? He just wanted me to kind of like be in the same headspace. But like you said, he had to do a lot to prove to me that he was sorry because he did some stuff that I don't know if he felt guilty about or what, but he needed to do something to show me that he could be more trustworthy. So I misread the signs initially because I thought he was still being like untrustworthy and not being like really ready to commit.
Have you ever had to come out of the doghouse, get yourself out of the doghouse?
Like, what do you mean? Like, give me an example. Like,
you ever done something that was not trustworthy to someone you were dating and you wanted to win them back, like where you had to be the one to reconcile the relationship and show that, hey, I didn't mean it?
No, I'm gonna say because I wasn't in a relationship when it happened. I was single.
Okay.
But it was like the beginning stages of showing you trustworthy. So it was like, yeah.
So what are your thoughts? And this kind of goes into trust and things like that. once again, I was, yeah, well, I watch a lot of documentaries and a lot on
Hmm.
view a lot of relationships. So there's women out there where when their partner, their husband, or their boyfriend, uh, they watch porn behind their partner's back, uh,
Oh, fun.
and there's been some relationships ruined off of it. There's been some wives,
Roy, for watching porn?
right, and there's been some wives. And there are wives out there where, hey, if I caught my husband watching porn, I feel like they're cheating on me, and I can't trust them,
That's
and
extreme.
they view that as a form of cheating. So
Watching porn is a form of cheating.
absolutely,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
There's a documentary about that. I want to see it. It's on
yeah.
Netflix. I'm gonna look it up.
It might have been either Netflix or Amazon Prime. I watched it, and yeah,
You gotta
I don't
find the
know.
title and let us know about that. We gotta put that in the show notes, man.
Yeah,
That sounds like a good documentary there. Um,
I mean, there's two ways to view it. One, if someone gets addicted to porn, they say, it's the
yeah,
same way you can get addicted to gambling or
right,
addicted
right.
to, all kind of things. Um, but if her husband, if most cases, probably man looking at porn behind the wife's back versus the other way around. So in situations like that, yeah, there's I'm sure there's a percentage of wives that find that unacceptable
Yeah.
behavior and feel, oh, I can't trust my husband anymore because you you know you went behind my back, the
To
marriage.
watch porn.
You went behind the marriage, yeah,
I
and
think I think I would have to determine like how much porn are you watching behind my back? Why are we not role playing this porn that you watch? Like, why are you not coming back to the relationship? Like, I
right,
would be concerned like why we're not reenacting the porn that you watching.
right, right.
I
I
don't
don't.
know. I would I, I would
You
have
never
to ask
think,
some really serious questions on like why are you watching porn? If you're watching like porn a zillion times a day, then I would then say this
yeah,
person may have some sort of addiction. That's different because people do have
or if
sex
they're
addictions.
right, if they're watching porn and the intimacy and sexual intercourse between you and your partner decreases.
We have an issue
Okay.
because then you're not being intimate with me, or you're not growing intimacy with me and sex with me, because that's basically what is happening.
Right.
So whatever you're watching in porn, it's being fulfilled, but you're not
Right.
fulfilling your obligation with me
Right.
sexually, or emotionally, or whatever people intimacy, I want to say overall. So that's a problem, though. That seems like there's some level of addiction is happening, or it could be other reasons, like, am I not the right size for you? Am I not, comfortable for you? Are you not enjoying yourself? But we need to have a more in-depth conversation and go seek some professional help to figure it out, not just resort to watching porn. So I think it's a lot more questions related to how much porn are you watching? If you're not being intimate with me, we need to talk about it. We need to figure out a solution, because if you're not being intimate with me, so should I go be intimate with somebody else? Mine's not porn. Mine's is actually getting the physical body. So then what we do?
Gotcha.
How do we handle that?
Right. So, right. So your thing about, as long as it doesn't impact the relationship, the performance, and
Yeah,
the emotional side of the relationship, hey, if you're gonna do that from time to time on the side, yeah,
do it.
go.
Hopefully we can, us watching porn is, you watching porn is for us, not just for you, but you saying you being selfish. So nah. What are your thoughts? Do you know anybody with this addiction? I mean, I've heard people with sex addictions, and I've heard
Yeah.
people.
I've had a friend that porn was issue in their marriage.
Really?
Yeah. Then then you have, like I said, you can have a conservative wife where
That's true. That's true.
you just viewing porn, like, because I'm sure there's some husbands that wouldn't mind watching. There's husbands that probably watch porn with their wives, and then therefore it's a little bit more acceptable.
Yeah.
But I think when it's like, hey, it's on the home computer and the wife walks in, she sees a site, and she didn't know that this was part of your lifestyle. I think that's when.
So what about? So let's flip it here. What if the woman uses toys and don't need, like, what is, would you consider that addiction? Are you upset at that? Do you want to use them on me? Like,
yeah, to me, there's no difference. It's like if we're in a relationship and if a guy's going to be penalized for having for watching porn and watching stuff on his time, you can't be having toys and doing stuff on your time. It's fair is fair.
Right.
Yeah. And so, but I guess there could be a level of insecurity.
Yeah.
Involved. Are you thinking about that person when you're doing it, or then are you thinking about that dildo when I'm doing? It's like what? It goes both ways. So.
Yeah. No, it does go both ways, but I think that either way it goes, a conversation needs to be had as to what we're doing exactly. Like, because I know some women. I actually have a friend, now that I think about it, and put it in context. I was younger though. She got married kind of younger. And she was using the toy, and her husband was like, "Stop using the toy." She was like, "Why? I enjoy it." And he was like, "She hates it." And I was like, what is his problem with it? But I never thought of it in the way in reference to him watching porn more, but because it wasn't declining their intimacy.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see. Okay, now just thinking about it more and more, and it's like if you get so used to your own touch. It's like, would your husband or your partner's touch be diminished in any kind of way? Like,
yes, that's to me. It's like what I don't think people recognize overall is like when you get used to like masturbating, man or woman, regardless, it's not the same touch. No male penis feels like a vibrator. Period. Like, let's be clear, not even, and it's the same as if you're masturbating. Like, the idea is that it should not be a thing where you're using it for all intimacy levels when you're with someone. It should be something where it's just an excitement at the time to switch things up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think, in our closing statement, I think, mistrust in the bedroom, it definitely goes a long way. And sexual behaviors, sexual fantasies, and the sexual desires.
Wow. Yes, we didn't get into that level of trust. Dang it.
Yeah. So you gotta be careful out there, but you can love someone, but but once you lose that trust,
it's hard to get it back. Okay. Well, I think we should wrap it up there because it's going to go down another whole rabbit hole. So until next time, coworkers.
All right. Bye.
That's all for today's episode of Work Spouse.
We would love for you to subscribe and leave a review. We welcome all feedback.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at WorksPousePod or email us with any questions at thyworkspouse@gmail.com. That's THYWORKSPOUSE@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe for updates on future shows.
Until next time, coworkers.